All right, thank you. Put aside whatever notion you may have of being a lobbyist. It's not just people in suits going to the Capitol to get special favors for their own benefit. Anyone asking government to do something is in effect a lobbyist. And you have an absolute right to do that. I love the wording in the North Carolina Constitution, which says the people have a right to instruct their representatives and to petition the General Assembly for redress of grievances, just Constitution talk for fix what's wrong. But the trouble is, you got to know who to ask when you're talking about government. In Mecklenburg County, there's 49 people involved, from the U.S. Senate down to the school board. So you've got to make sure you're asking the right people to do what it is you want government to do. And of course, the best way to get prepared to do that is to research. You need to research who the right people are to talk with. Not simply what it is you want to get done, not simply how it can be done, but who are the right people, because ultimately you're going to go to one of three buildings if you're in North Carolina. You're going to go either to the government center, where the Charlotte City Council, the Board of County Commissioners, and the school board are, or the legislative building in Raleigh, or maybe it's a national issue and you go to the Capitol. I'm going to focus more on local level for the duration of this, but the principles apply to all three levels. When you're doing your research, there are fortunately plenty of websites to help. The government agencies themselves have it. This is house.gov, where you can look up House members and committee members, bills that are being considered. The North Carolina General Assembly also has a fantastic website with a lot of data to it about who to contact. There's even links to chamber audio when they're in session. You can listen to them debate if you go that far. But if it comes right down to it and you're still trying to figure out who's the right person to address, you can go to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg website. It's going to be different now. They changed it after I did this slide. But call 311 and say, okay, who's in charge of the pothole on this road, or who's in charge of improving economic development for technology startups? And that'll tell you who the right people to talk with are. And always remember your goal. This is about persuading. You're trying to persuade your elected officials to adopt the plan that you want to see done. You're not chastising them. That's for another talk. But keep that goal in mind. You're trying to persuade. And a good way to persuade, we've all seen this, but what I like this for is for two reasons. One, it's solution-oriented, which helps if you're going to talk to elected officials. And it's also very simple. Find X. Well, here it is. You want to make your case as simply and as solution-oriented as possible. Don't do this. This is an actual email I received about a complaint, about a problem. And I got to tell you, my eyes glazed over about a third of the way in when the all caps started. Please don't just send an email. You don't have to do that. Particularly at the local level, it can be as easy as calling up your representative, inviting them to coffee. Make your case. Just sit down, explain what it is you want to do. Again, keeping it simple, keeping it solution-oriented. And you can do this, particularly at the local level, very easily. All your local elected officials are usually very accessible. If you keep it solution-oriented, you keep it simple, you may turn one of them into a champion for you. And that elected official will go back to the colleagues and say, yeah, this is a good idea that I've heard from one of my constituents. I think we should give it a shot. Don't rely solely on your own effort, though. Don't rely solely on finding a champion. It helps to have friends, because friends will show up, and people who agree with you, they can hold up the signs in the chamber, say, we want you to do this as well. And that will carry a lot of weight when you can organize enough people to show up and show signs like this. It also helps that they write letters. This is an actual 16-inch stack of letters that the City Council of Charlotte received about a year and a half ago about a stoplight issue from one neighborhood. This told us the entire neighborhood was active, they were involved, they wanted this thing done, and even though they were all form letters, we listened. You can also encourage your local news media to take up your case. There are a couple of cases where this has been done in the past year or so, Boxman Studios and the Pygmy Goats from about a year or so ago. So the press can be helpful in your lobbying efforts. But ultimately, once you identify the group you're lobbying, this is the Board of County Commissioners, you've contacted each one of them, you've stated your case in a public meeting, you've done the coffee, you got to count votes, because eventually they're going to vote. And you want at least a majority, in this case 5, to vote aye. And 4 may vote nay, it doesn't matter, as long as 5 in this case vote aye, because you want a majority to pass what it is you're looking to do. Now, once you do this, pay close attention once the vote occurs, because you still need to do follow-up as part of your lobbying. You send your thank you notes. Thank the folks who voted with you. Thank the folks who voted against you, because at least they took the time to listen to you, because this may not be the last thing that you lobby for. Ultimately, once you're a citizen lobbyist, it may start with one issue, but it could, go into others and others, because we need lobbyists. How else are we going to know how to make decisions? And you either leave it to the folks in suits or you let yourselves do it. Because it is your government. You're supposed to tell it what to do. Thank you.